In this lesson, we're going to continue to work with color, but now we're going to focus in on an object's outline. So the outline is part of the object. It's the border going around the outside. We're going to continue to use the same file from the previous lesson. So if you've skipped to this lesson and you do have the exercise files, you can get all caught up by going to the Lesson 6 folder and opening up colorfills2.cdr. You'll have exactly what I have. We're going to focus in on this circle as well as the text up above. Let's start with our circle. Well, I'm going to go to my zoom tool. You can press F2 if you like on the keyboard and just click and drag around the actual circle to zoom into it. Now I'm going to go back to my pick tool and I'm going to click on the circle itself to select it. Now we know from the previous lesson, if I go over to my color palette and simply click on a color, I'll be changing the fill. Well, the border or the outline that we see going around the outside of the object is part of the object. So if I wanted to change its color, I would do a couple of different things. First of all, I can go over to a color and drag it to the outline if I wanted to do that. Let's try that. We'll go over to the cyan here, and let's just click and drag it over to the outline. When we touch the outline, you can see how the swatch changes next to my mouse pointer from solid to hollow. That means I'm on the outline and I can let go. That will change the outline color. Beautiful. An even easier way to do exactly what we just did right now is to right-click on the color swatch. So let's try a different color this time. Let's go to the dark blue and right-click with the right mouse button, and you can see how fast and easy that was. Now if I wanted to start doing things like changing my outline to a texture or a gradient or some kind of other fill, well, I can't really do that without converting it to an object first, something we talked about in a previous lesson. If I go up to my Arrange menu and come down to Convert Outline to Object, now I've got a separate object that has its own fill. That means I could apply a texture fill. Let's try that out. It's still selected, so I'm going to go down to my Fill tool and just go to a texture fill right here. Now you can see the last texture we used from the previous lesson, our alien eyes. I'm going to click my Preview button a couple of times until I get a nice looking preview. That's a good one right there. And when I click OK, watch what happens. I've now filled my outline with that texture. That's only because I had to convert it to an object first. Shift F4 is going to zoom me out. I'm going to go back up to my pick tool, make sure it's selected, and click on my text at the top. Now, artistic text is kind of like an object. Each of the characters that I typed here has its own outline. So let's zoom into that area with our zoom tool. And I'm going to go back to my pick tool, make sure it's selected, and I'm going to fill it with yellow. I'm going to fill it with yellow by clicking on yellow. And the outside, which is also an outline, just like with an object, can be changed by right-clicking a color. If I right-click on black, you can see it's a black outline. If I right-click on blue, it's kind of hard to see because it's a thin outline, but it has changed to that cyan color. Now there's another option for manipulating outlines. You'll notice down on the status bar a couple of things show up here telling me that my fill color is yellow and my hairline, which is the outline, is this sky blue. So I'm going to double click on the actual swatch down here, which opens up my outline pen dialog box. This is cool. Here I can change the color if I wanted to something else, but I'm going to leave it at sky blue, and I'm going to change the width instead. Let's go up to 2 points and see what happens. Well, not much down below, so let's double it to 4 points. And when I click OK, that's much thicker, much easier to see the color that's being used in the outline, and just another option for changing outline effects, such as the color and the thickness. I'm going to go back down there and double click that again. And I'm going to change my width down to 3 points. It's a little too thick. I've also got some other options for corners and so on, but I'm going to click OK to accept that, and that looks a little bit better. I'll deselect, Shift F4 to zoom out, and that covers outlines and fills.